1 year ago today, something pretty bad happened. Let's talk about it. Bobby Karalla joined by Kevin Gray Jr. and the great Marc Stein, our national NBA insider here at DLLS Sports. Mark, 1 year ago today, the Mavericks did the unthinkable, something that we never could have believed, and I'm not sure I do even 1 year later. They traded Luka Dončić, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the LA Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. It was a night that I think shocked everybody alive. And 1 year later, have you made any more sense of what we've seen and what we experienced that night?
Still unthinkable. I think that's fair to say. This is my 33rd season. It's the craziest trade I've ever covered. I've been following the NBA for a long, long time. I think it goes down as the craziest trade, the most shocking trade, the most controversial trade that this league has ever seen. Personally, the best comp that I have, and I've thought about this so much, and I've actually been planning a written story about this for ages and just haven't had a chance to do it. The only thing I can put in the ballpark, and I'm saying I'm putting it in the ballpark, I'm not putting it on the same level. The very first trade I covered in the 93-94 season, I was thrown on the Clipper beat way before I was ready by the Los Angeles Daily News in February of 94, 10 days before the trade deadline. And at that deadline, the Clippers made what was, at the time, the wildest trade in their history, Danny Manning to Atlanta for Dominique Wilkins. But it was the flip side of the trade that has the echoes of the Luka trade. The Hawks, Michael Jordan is playing baseball. The Hawks are winning the East. They are leading the East. And Dominique Wilkins, by far their most popular player ever, they abruptly trade him to the Clippers in a season that looked like the best chance that the Hawks could actually win the East and go to the finals. Now, Dominique was in his 30s. He had the Achilles injury, which, at the time, he made an incredible, historic comeback from the Achilles. The comeback Dominique Wilkins made from his Achilles injury in the early 90s, you never saw that. I mean, that was truly historic. But again, there are echoes of the Hawks just abruptly trading their most popular player. But again, it's, like I said, the closest comp I can come up with. It's still in the social media era. That's one of the 50 elements that we could talk about, is that when this news broke, because of social media, we could all take it in. We all absorbed the shock and all the other emotions together. You couldn't do that in 1994. You couldn't do that in 2004. And even in 2014, nobody, Twitter was around, but it just wasn't quite to the level of something that could shock the whole sporting world all across the globe in the middle of the night, and everybody is taking it in together. That's one of the reasons why it was such a stunner. But yeah, I mean, look, you can't rationalize it a year later. I mean, you've seen what Luka Dončić has done this week,
And I've
right,
seen where
Kevin
the Mavs
Gray?
are in the standings, and it's not great. And I think, the social media and internet tech point is a good one. I mean, KG, you and I were going through it online that night.
We were.
Mavs fans everywhere were, and I think in a time, if you as a company or a team or something do something that's really unpopular, usually you stay kind of quiet. But, in the days and weeks following that trade, there were just more and more quotes coming from either, GM Nico Harrison or owner Patrick Dumont or, other people in and around the team and the league that just kept giving oxygen to this fire that was just raging in the fan base. And, my question for you would be, I think there's still a lot of fans that aren't over it, but have you ever in your time covering the league seen a fan base respond as viscerally and with as much anger as the Mavs fans did?
No. The only thing in NBA parlance that I think we could liken it to is a city losing a team. Seattle losing the Sonics. That's what this felt like here. And we can talk about all the reasons. I mean, he was only 25 years old at the time of the trade. He had just led the Mavericks to the NBA Finals. They spent every tradable asset they had to build a team around him. That team went 14. We only saw it for 17-ish games. They went 14-3 before the calf strain on Christmas, and we're looking like, wow, this is exactly what they thought they had built, and just pulled the plug on it. And the fan base reacting,
thinking about it as you're rattling all of that.
I don't like what you're telling me right now, man.
I don't like the recollection of all the memories and all the feelings being reintroduced here. I'm not feeling it.
The fan reaction. That's what made this thing so different. Like, it just, in the NBA, you have never seen a fan base react to a transaction like this.
And it was justified, by the way.
Even after winning the lottery, the miracle of winning the lottery, and the absolute gift of Cooper Flag, which, that's the other thing. I watch Lakers games. It's been a year, and I still look at the screen, or I'm even at Crypto in LA, and I see Luka in a Laker uniform, and it just still doesn't compute. It just still doesn't seem real. And just as much that the Mavs won the lottery and got Cooper Flag, because again, what Cooper Flag has done this week, I can't stop asking myself, like, where would this team be? Where would this franchise be if that 1.8% chance to win the lottery doesn't hit and they don't get Cooper Flag? How many years would the Mavericks have set themselves back by trading Luka in the manner they did if they don't get Cooper Flag? But no, the fan reaction was like what you see abroad in English soccer. I mean, it got the GM fired. I mean, that does not happen every day in the NBA.
This was a story that not only dominated the sports world for about a good 2-week period. This was the biggest story in the world. We're talking about an international superstar who had just had the height of success leading his team to the NBA Finals, traded in the middle of the night with no warning, and shocking an entire fan base, leaving it in shambles. Since that time, what have you learned about not only just the trade itself, but more importantly, about how he has continued to affect, whether it's the Lakers, the Mavericks fan base? What have you learned most about what has happened with this trade since then that continues to either bother you or has shocked you in the wake of this trade, even a year later?
I mean, this part is not a shock, but it's just a fan base's connection to a player that their team drafts is just, there's such a bond there. And again, like, I keep citing things because, like, there's 50, no, check, there are 77, I always say it's the 77 stages of grief, because Mavs fans are still going through it on a lot of levels. But there are 77 layers to this story. There are so many different angles, layers, backstories, impacts, because he was the Mavs guy. I mean, literally, his first season was Dirk's last season. It was a literal sports writers always love to write about passing of the torch, and Dirk to Luka was a literal passing of the torch. Dirk's last season, Luka's first season, the overlap, and they have become much closer in recent years. After that year, they played together. The Mavs willingly traded away Dirk's little brother, in effect. I mean, that's the way this came across. And I'm pretty sure you guys were dialed into the Mark Aguirre jersey retirement ceremony. I mean, you know how much Dirk will forever be loved here. So they traded away his heir apparent, the guy who was going to. Honestly, though, you know what I will say? The game in April, which I put up there with, one of the 5 or 6 most anticipated regular season games I've ever been to see Luka's reaction to the tribute video and just how much he was hurting and how badly he did not want to leave here. Like, we all thought it. We all hoped it, that he wanted to be a Mav for his whole career, but the emotions that poured out of him then, that told you he did not want this trade. He wanted to be here start to finish. He wanted to take the torch from Dirk and have a start to finish Mavericks career like Dirk did. And that was powerful, man. That stays with you. That night was something else.
It was just something that I didn't ever want to experience. I mean,
Same.
it was incredibly moving,
I'm talking too much. You guys gotta.
Well, no, I mean, I think, because I went 1 week after the trade. It was the Mavs' first home game. It was whenever the Rockets were in town, and that game went sideways. Obviously, in the third quarter, 80 got hurt, and things went from bad to worse after that. Just every single player on the team got hurt. But there was a protest before that game outside the arena. Some people that had tickets to the game, some that didn't. They just showed up, and they wanted to just make some noise, and let people know how upset they were. And in my experience here at DLLS, I mean, a lot of people, in a weird kind of way, got a lot closer as a result of that trade. Like,
Sure.
Communities were built around it. People rallied together and came together, and it's just, the thing that is supposed to do that is the team. It's the sport is supposed to do that. Your love for the thing that is good is supposed to bring you together. But in this case, it was
A collected, united fervor.
yeah, your anger and
Yeah.
and your rage
Yeah.
at this thing that you're supposed to love just went out of its way to let you down, and then let you know about it afterward, and laughed at you, and kick you out of the arena. And it's just, I've just never seen a fan base respond like that. I've never seen an organization respond like that. And frankly, KG, I mean, if I owned a team, or if I was a GM of a team, I would use this as a cautionary tale and say, I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to let that happen.
Yeah, it's an absolute cautionary tale. The connection between a player, a fan base, a city, it's an unspoken social contract was broken when that trade was made. And it is very hard to repair that kind of trust immediately, if at all, given the principals who were and are still a part of this team that consummated that trade. And I don't know what could be done to ever rectify that contract, if anything. I guess the question I would have for you, Stein, is not only the fan base reaction, but the organizational response afterwards. How would you characterize what you learned or observed from the organization in terms of how the response was from multiple layers?
I mean, does it need to be said? Could it have been more ill? Could they have been more ill prepared to make that trade and deal with the fallout? I mean, it was disastrous. You guys remember. But, what you were talking about there, kind of, it actually had me going in a different thought of just like, Luka's played 2 games here now. And like that buzz when even in Lakers pregame warm up gear, like the second he emerges from the tunnel, like the buzz that goes around the building Like the only thing I can compare that to that I've seen in all these years in the NBA is like the early days of Steph and Curry's warm up when that became a thing, and just like the fans wanted to come early to watch Steph warm up. But it's like, I mean, did you guys hear that, right? Like the second there's a glimpse of Luka, it's just like, the whole crowd isn't in the building yet, and especially the other night we had weather issues, so the building wasn't nearly as full as it probably might have been, because Luka likes to go out and do the warm up like with an hour on the clock. But it's just like, you don't even have to be looking. It's you know when he's on the floor, if you're in the building, the minute he emerges from that tunnel.
Mark, do you ever think we're going to see another trade like this ever again in the NBA or really in any sport?
I mean,
like,
it's hard to.
Do you think this is going to go down in the books?
Yeah, I mean, last April, Luka coming back here, that was a scene. That's one that I will never forget.
Well, as someone that went through it here, I hope no one else anywhere ever has to go through.
I don't think my blubbering and rambling is going to help. I'm not. Are we sure this podcast is going to help?
I think that just talking about it is a good thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just blathering on.
Now that sound you hear is our hearts breaking all over again.
It's a trade you see once every 100 years, Babe Ruth. That's what it feels like. A once in every 100-year type of thing happened.
And
it just happened to us.
I hope I'm not around 100 years from now, because I can't do it again. I just can't do it again. I refuse. Marc Stein, thank you very much.
Appreciate you, sir.
For not only this video, but also for doing some of the best reporting anywhere on the planet around this trade that continues to, like you say, have more and more layers as the days and months and
there will be more to come. I don't think that the reporting on this trade has by no means ceased. This is only anniversary number 1.
Oh my God, that sounded like a warning.
That's right.
He's Marc Stein. That's Kevin Gray. Tanner's our producer. I'm Bobby Hay. If you like this video, like and subscribe. All right, subscribe to DLLS Sports. Really appreciate it, and we will see you soon.